Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Louise Huber begins now.
Good evening. In a drastic about-face, the Premier is scrapping plans to sell off Tasmanian government-owned businesses. But while Jeremy Rockliff lashes out at the opposition leader over the no-confidence vote, the Greens are pledging allegiance to Labor, hoping to avoid another election.
An embattled Premier under stormy skies after a torrid week where he faced a successful no-confidence motion and now looks to take the state to a second election in little more than 12 months. Jeremy Rockliff backflipping on the sale of government assets.
There will be no privatisation of any GBE government-owned assets under a Liberal government.
The Premier going further, outlining additional protections for future asset sales.
We will introduce legislation to ensure that any asset sales that go through the Parliament will need 2/3 majority support of the Parliament.
But that hasn't satisfied the opposition.
Jeremy Rockliff is clinging on to power with everything he's got, and what he's tried to do today is to say that he's no longer going to privatise, but we all know that he will.
All unions concerned over public sector job losses.
There is nothing in this announcement that the public can take as truth other than them trying to get themselves out of a deep political hole.
The Greens writing to the opposition leader in a bid to avoid another election.
To let him know that the Greens are ready to provide confidence and supply with him as a future Premier.
Today's announcement leaves the Premier with the challenge of returning the budget to surplus, with the state tipped to be in debt to the tune of almost $11 billion in just 4 years. Jeremy Rockliff insists it will happen without cutting infrastructure spending or increasing taxes.
Our budget has a sensible pathway to surplus without selling any assets.
Also standing defiant against increasing calls for him to resign, saying he has the support of the parliamentary Liberal Party.
What I'm committed to is building a better Tasmania. What Dean Winter has demonstrated is that he is reckless, he is a wrecker, he is immature and not fit to be a Premier of Tasmania.
Matthew Watson, 7 Tasmania News.
2 bodies believed to be that of a young Brisbane couple who were visiting for a holiday have been uncovered by police in northeast Tasmania. It's believed the pair's car crashed and fell from a bridge. Their remains found near the wreckage. Reporter Ruby Cairns has the details.
It was the holiday that ended in tragedy. Forensic examinations continue tonight to work out exactly how a young couple from Brisbane died. Leandra Kang and Takahiro Toya left North Hobart on Tuesday and were due to return home Wednesday. The couple didn't board their flight to Brisbane or return their rental car, alerting authorities. Their last known location was somewhere between Derby and St Helens.
The vehicle upside down in the Great Musselrow River off Tebracana Road. That location's about 10 kilometres east of Pioneer.
This rental car understood to have fallen from a bridge, the pair's bodies found nearby. Police don't believe there are suspicious circumstances.
We believe that the crash has occurred on Tuesday afternoon, and we didn't find the vehicle until about 5:30 yesterday afternoon, which means that they've been out there probably for about 3 days.
The road in the state's northeast is quite remote with no service, mainly used by forestry workers.
Because it had gone off the bridge and was sort of tucked underneath the bridge a little bit, driving across the bridge you wouldn't actually see the vehicle unless you stopped.
Police inquiries are ongoing. The family of both now expected to fly down from Queensland to formally identify the bodies.
A 12-year-old girl has tragically died following a crash on the East Derwent Highway north of Hobart. The incident occurred in Bridgewater at around 6 p.m. on May 20 when the young girl was struck by a vehicle while crossing the road. She was taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital but sadly passed away yesterday, surrounded by family. The driver, a 30-year-old woman from Brighton, was not injured. Police say the investigation is still ongoing. As we enter a busy third night of Dark Mofo excitement, Tasmanian traders are welcoming the tourism boom with open arms. Week 1 coinciding with the King's birthday long weekend as 5,000 extra plane seats bring a surge to the visitor economy.
Tassie's seen a stream of interstate visitors in time for our most popular winter festival.
We didn't realise that we were here at the same time as Dark Mofo.
We came into Hobart driving in and everything was red.
With crosses everywhere.
We're like, what is going on?
Yeah, I love Tassie. I've never been to Dark Mofo before.
We're from Melbourne touring Tasmania. It looks like there's a lot going on with the Mofo festivals.
Thousands descended over the first few nights of darkness. The winter lull boosted by an extra 5,000 passengers booked to fly into the capital over 2 weeks.
It is a fantastic thing for the hospitality community at large. I think everyone felt it a lot last year when the broader festival wasn't on.
An astounding 22,000 people attend Winter Feast every night. That overflow music to the ears of local pubs and clubs.
When the feast ends, you will just be swimming in people.
Dark Mofo organisers anticipate this year to be the biggest on record, a boost proving crucial for attractions too.
70% of visitors to Salamanca Market are from New South Wales and Victoria. We do tend to see an uptake in visitors to Salamanca when there is a long weekend.
Traders now hoping the festivities are enough to continue pulling people into the winter chill.
Festival of Voices is coming up, and then I think it's Beaker Street Festival after that.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
As the Devonport community comes to terms with the dismissal of a health and safety charge against the operator of the Hillcrest Jumping Castle, lawyers are preparing a class action case against the Education Department. Premier Jeremy Rockliff today committing to reach a fair settlement with the families to avoid dragging them through a lengthy civil court battle.
I've been broken for a long time.
I'll continue to sit down with the parents, the grieving parents that will be grieving forever, and work with them to ensure that they know that their Premier and their government is right behind them, as the community is wrapping their arms around them right now.
The next step, however, is a coronial inquiry which was put on hold to allow the criminal trial to run its course. The families are demanding the coroner hold a public inquest. Tasmanian Lockie Dalton was told not to hold back in his supercars wildcard entry, but took that a little too seriously in his second practice, narrowly avoiding a rollover. Unable to get out of the sand, the session was put on hold while the Tickford rookie waited for a tow truck. Finishing his first race unscathed this afternoon in 23rd, 40 seconds off the leader. Kiwi young gun Ryan Wood could hardly control his emotions after fending off a late charge from defending champion Will Brown to win his first supercars race.
And now Ryan Wood is a supercar race winner in Western Australia.
Pretty emotional, to be honest. My parents have sacrificed a lot for me to get here, and to achieve my lifelong dream just doesn't feel real.
Wood also starts from pole in tonight's second race. It was a regional showdown in Penguin this weekend as NWFL faced off against its southern rivals. From a dominant display in the women's clash to a thriller in the men's, the SFL stamped its authority.
They came in as the favourites, but the Northwest just couldn't land an early punch. Scoreless in the first term, while the SFL slammed the door shut at every opportunity.
Snap on goal, Molly Mitchell!
And it was Molly Mitchell leading the charge. Unbothered by the slippery conditions, she was a force up forward. And as the heat went up, so too the desperation from the Northwest.
That's a goal-saving tackle from Georgia Anderson.
They managed to claw back to within 20 points, but by then the damage was done.
Haynes did really well at ground level, got it to Saywood, slapped it on the boot and kicked a wonderful goal.
SFL in full control, cruising to a commanding 32-point win. The men's game, on the other hand, a different story. Penguins sharpshooter Jack Templeton putting on a first quarter clinic with 3 early goals on his home soil.
And the Northwest extend their lead to 17 points. And this is a pretty dominant opening act from Big Templeton.
Pressure eased slightly thanks to talent from Glenorchy.
Alomes with a snapshot from 45. It's an absolute beauty from Bryce Alomes.
That sparked a comeback. Scores all tied up at the half, with both sides getting desperate in the third.
Poley stripped him of it. Bell Chambers diving on it. Elmer's trying to strip him.
But when the game was on the line, one name stood above the rest.
Cooney back to Alomes. Slaps it on the left boot. Bryce Alomes!
Alomes clutch when it counted, kicking 6 for the game. The SFL claiming bragging rights, winning by 19 points. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanian Kate Eckhart has outpaced the Fox sisters to finish as the highest ranked Aussie at the Canoe Slalom World Cup in Spain. Making the K1 kayak final, she'd miss a spot on the podium despite a provisional first place results. Copping a 2-second penalty at gate 7, finishing 5th overall ahead of Naomi Fox in 9th, while sister Jess was a shock absence from the final, coming in 48th.
Good evening. Hobart and Launceston both 12 degrees today, 13 in Devonport and 15 in Burnie. 16 our high at Friendly Beaches, Flinders Island saw 15, as did Grove, King Island, Smithton and St Helens all 14, 13 for Low Head and Ouse, Strawn 12 and 8 in Lyowini. A frontal band was seen about the east and south of Tasmania today, with high cloud extending over King Island, the highest rainfall recorded 55 millimetres at Pine Tree. A couple of frontal bands approached the state, the first weakening as it crossed across the island. Tomorrow, a low pushes to the northeast of Tasmania as the trough extends along the east coast. South-southeasterly winds 10 to 20 knots across the west, tending east-southeasterly increasing to 20 knots in eastern waters, west to southwesterly swells building to 5 metres. A strong wind warning has been issued for coastal waters between east of Flinders Island around to Low Rocky Point and also for the far northwest coast, Frederick Henry, Norfolk, Storm Bay and also the Channel. Increasing showers in the south tomorrow, Hobart and Ouse 13, 14 in Richmond. A very similar story for the north, 14 the maximum in Launceston and Devonport. A morning frost for Deloraine, 0 the overnight low, warming to 13 degrees later. Late showers for Burnie, 15, a few showers too in Strawn, 13. Showers easing in Curry with 14 there. Showers on the increase towards the east, 14 the top in St Helens and Whitemark, Swansea 15 degrees. Forecast for Monday, showers about the east and south, but mostly fine elsewhere. Showers continue about the east and south on Tuesday, but they're likely to ease throughout the morning. And on Wednesday, light showers about the east, south and Bass Strait Islands, but that should clear throughout the afternoon. A soggy day in Melbourne and Canberra tomorrow, winds easing in Sydney 16, fine in Perth 22, showers easing later in Adelaide with 13 degrees expected there. 10 degrees in Hobart right now, but cloudy, partly cloudy also in Launceston with 9, but clear in Devonport with 9 also. I have no doubt those soggy conditions won't dampen dark mofo spirits this weekend, Lou.
And that wraps up for your news for this Saturday evening. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.